Inflation, economic instability, interest rates rising, and a lack of saving.
Are you feeling more financially stressed than ever? Not just about AI? Well, you're not alone.
7 out of 10 adults, 70%, are stressed about their personal finances. And 57% of those making $100,000 or more per year are financially stressed too.
More than 50% of Australians feel financially stressed, with most of them saying it affects their well-being negatively. Is there anything that we can do to avoid those financial challenges? The following 5 basic simple principles that we're going to talk about in this video may not make you a multi-millionaire, but it definitely can help you take back that control of your personal finance and remove the financial struggles that most people are facing and live a happy and meaningful life.
Now that is easy because it's so simple. You don't have a lot of envy, you don't have a lot of resentment, you don't overspend your income, you stay charitable in spite of your troubles, you deal with reliable people, and you do what you're supposed to do.
So the number 1 principle is to spend less than what we earn. Simple, straightforward, not easy. We all know that even if we bring home 1 million per year, but catch out 1.2 million, we're broke. Let's do a simple math. Say my bring home income after tax is $100,000 per year, and I'm saving to buy my first home that is worth $1 million. So it will take me 10 years time to be able to afford that $1 million house. That'll be so naive of me. The truth is, I will be lucky to save up $338,000 if I live in the US and $236,000 in Australia. If I used the all-time high savings rate during the pandemic when we were literally locked down at home and got nowhere to spend. In fact, the average saving ratios in the US and in Australia are 8.88% and 9.42% from 1959 until now. That is to say, in 10 years' time, most likely, I will have saved less than my 1 year bring home income. Seriously? Is that true? According to the data, that's correct. Can you believe it? I can't even make 20% down payment after 10 years hard working and saving? Wait, how much would that stamp duty and LMI be? Let me plug in the numbers. One moment. It will be $102,911. That's another $100,000. It will be another 10 years. I'll never be able to own a house of my own. We can see the key factor here is the savings rate and how to increase it. On one hand, we can keep hustling, increase our earning power, get a promotion, change companies, learn a new skill, build another income stream. On the other hand, we can manage our expenses by tracking them. Hey, what gets measured gets managed, right? Can you find a cheaper deal for utilities and insurance, cut off a few unused subscriptions and switch to a bank that has no annual fee or give you some cash kickbacks? If you're running out of ideas, you may want to check out the tips on how I saved $5,000 a year when everything was expensive. If you can't hold your shopping temptation, get rid of your credit cards. I have, say, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 cards actually. I've got another Macquarie cards. None of them is credit cards. To me, having a credit card to accumulate rewards points or credit points is just not very appealing. Once you go through all your spending for a couple months, then you should be able to slowly stash away additional money, which can go into your emergency savings. And I cannot stress enough how important to have an emergency fund. Not only can it provide you with a safety net to cover financial surprises life throws your way, so you don't need to borrow by using your credit card, but also it helps keep your stress level down. Knowing we are prepared with an emergency fund gives us confidence that we can tackle any of life's unexpected events without adding money worries to our list. The good news is that there are many savings accounts that you can park your emergency savings with very competitive interest rates. For example, this ING cards currently is offering 5.5%, and I've got some good candidates for you from this video. In terms of how much we should have saved in the emergency fund, most experts believe that we should have enough money to cover at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. I personally would like to aim for a year. What? You don't know how much your monthly living expense? Well, start tracking. Once you slowly build up your financial safety net, eventually you will want to move on. We cannot be only content to earn that 5.5% annual interest rate. We deserve better. We can't save to save, we need to save to invest. And this brings us to principle number 3, take advantage of the miracle of compound interest and let time be your friend. The reason that we can't put our savings into savings account is that there's an invisible enemy called inflation. A simple example of how inflation works is you could buy a coffee for $3 back in 1980, and you can only buy half of a coffee with the same amount of money today. And everything becomes more expensive as time goes by. So if the savings interest rate is lower than the inflation rate, you'll be losing money as your buying power decreases. The current inflation rate in Australia is 6%. So the value of our money decreases by 0.5% every year if it is parked in the 5.5% savings account. Of course, besides emergency fund, there are other exceptions that we better put our money into a savings account, such as savings for a home deposit or our children's tuition fee. That is totally fine. However, to accumulate wealth, you would want to invest your money in assets that can generate returns that are higher than the inflation rate. Initially, the capital gains and dividends might be as small as a watermelon seed, but slowly, the earnings on the investment accumulate, and one day, the passive returns will be bigger than what you have initially put in. This is the miracle of compound interest. Let's look at 3 scenarios. Suppose 3 friends all have initial $1,000 investment with 10% annual return. Person A always withdraws the interest at the end of each year, and person B is lazy by simply letting the interest compound itself, and person C is turbocharging the investments every year. He tops up $100 without withdrawing. At the end of year 1, the difference is minimal. By year 2, person B would have $210 more than person A, and person C would have $420 more than person A. By year 10, person B would have more than double what person A has, and person C would have more than 4 times what person A has. By year 40, person B would have more than 40 times of what person A has, and person C's investment will be almost 90 times of what person A has. We can see that the growth is not linear, it's exponential. And this is why Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. The compound interest looks simple. In fact, most people never get around to starting because the time isn't right, or I can't afford it. And there are people who do start but give it up early as they get disillusioned because the early returns don't grow as quickly as they hoped. Have you ever experienced another pessimistic self talking to you? Well, I have, and I call her Jessica. Jessica always pops out and rambles those negative thoughts whenever I wanted to open a broker account and start investing. And sometimes it can turn into a debate. Jessica, you don't have enough money to start investing. Is that you again? Finance is too complex and time consuming, but I can invest in the passive broad market index ETFs. There's too much risk in the stock market, Irene. Tell me, why can't I? Hello? Jessica? You there? To make the compound interest work wonders, we need 3 factors. The capital, which is our own contributed money that is invested, time, and rate of return. To make the formula work, you will need to reinvest the interest back into the investment, which is not very hard to do. That's right, you just do nothing. Let's play with the numbers and see the effects of the 3 factors. Suppose I invest $10,000 for a period of 15 years with 8% annual return reinvested, and I don't top up along the way, I would end up having $31,722. If we double the initial investment, the final sum would be proportionally doubled as well. If we double the time to 30 years, the final sum would be 3.2 times. If we double the ratio to 16%, the final sum again would be 2.9 times of the initial sum. How about we double the time and the return? The final sum would be 27 times, in which the total return is way more than the initial capital of $10,000. Increasing the capital invested will proportionally increase the final value of the investment. It is the time and the rate that provide exponential growth. The question is, are we patient to wait? How many of us are willing to get rich slowly? Fun fact, one of the greatest value investors, Warren Buffett's current net worth is $117 billion. But he hasn't always been one of the richest people in the world. In fact, 99% of Warren Buffett's net worth was earned after his 5th birthday. The next principle is to control our risks. I'll define these risks into 3 phases. The first phase is when we build our first bucket of wealth. Even Charlie Munger, the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, famously said,
The hard part of the process for most people is the first $100,000. Getting together $100,000 is a long struggle for most people.
And it took him 13 years of investment until he could match his annual attorney salary. So when we're young and just starting up, if we stay in our comfort zone, the only way to dash away additional cash to invest is to be frugal. And we don't want to be in that position. So in my opinion, the biggest risk in this phase is not investing in ourselves and increasing our earning power, especially with so many innovative technologies, AI, machine learning, and automation that is going to replace many human jobs. And once we have built our first $100,000, $300,000, $1 million, and we should do everything that we can to protect our assets. What is the number one rule of investing? Never get out of the market? No, the next one. Don't lose money. That's right. Thinking about investing in the next unicorn stock, using margin loans, long calls, sell puts, sometimes the temptation driven by greed and ignorance can make us rush into the next hot trendy new investment. But we shouldn't invest in anything that we don't really understand. Want to speculate? Fine. Control your position. A lot of the financial stresses could be from the debt, either the home loan that is so big that the monthly repayment takes a lot of the income, or consumer debt, those buy now, pay later payment arrangements. We shouldn't borrow more than what we can handle, that's for sure. To avoid mortgage stress, the monthly repayment of your home loan should not be more than 30% of your pre-tax monthly income. And lastly, once you reach your 1 million or 2 million net worth milestone, there's a lifestyle creep risk that's waiting for you. Well, how do you know if you have a lifestyle creep? It is when your spending increases along with your income. Just received my semi-annual dividends. We should celebrate. Your stock portfolio reached a milestone. We should go somewhere. But I hate my flight always gets delayed because I bought the bloody cheap economy flight. Can I just have a family holiday from time to time? Yes, you can. What you can do is to budget this money into your yearly spending. But there is study shows that there is a limit to how much your spending can increase before it begins to affect your financial future. Technically, it varies based on your savings rate. But for most people, the limit is about 50%. So once you spend more than 50% of your future raises, then you start delaying your retirement. For example, if I get a pay rise of $2,000, it is ideal that I should only spend less than $1,000. The last principle is knowledge is power. Have you heard of the saying, your money cannot grow more than your growth? This might sound a little rah-rah to you, but if you look at the people who suddenly won the lottery, when their financial mindset and knowledge cannot handle the sudden fortune, they either spend it all or gamble it all. There's just so much to learn out there, and you don't know what you don't know. Once you build the right money mindset that you will never go back, you will see the whole entire world differently. Why working for the company? Buy some stocks and be a shareholder. Behind the ticker symbol of each company, there are leaders and creative teams to build unique products and services. If you don't know where to start, I will recommend a couple books, starting from The Intelligent Investor by Warren Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham. To learn about value investing, this book is a bit old, but you can't miss this classic book. And the second one, I will recommend One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, the legendary mutual fund manager. He explains the advantages that average investors have over professionals in buying individual stocks and how they can use this edge to achieve financial success. And the third book is The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by the father of index investing, John Bogle. If you're new to index investing, and this is a must-read book to read before investing. The next one is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. In this book, he explains that doing well with money isn't necessarily about what you know, it's about how you behave. Highly recommend. These 5 principles are simple, but not necessarily easy to follow because the hard part is changing our own habits and action on them. And money cannot buy us happiness, but without the stress about money, you definitely can be more focused to keep moving towards your goal and go after your dreams. My name's Irene. I'll see you next week. Bye.